Hello everyone, this is Loco S, and welcome back to Star Citizen Intergalactic Aerospace Expo 2953, Day 4, Origin Jumpworks. Figured I'd get my character a little bit more dressed up for Origin Jumpworks Day. I don't want to feel too out of place here with all the ritzy, fancy ships. So it's, again, as always, a quick stroll over to the IAE 2953 program. Unfortunately, one of my favorite ship manufacturers, and one of the larger manufacturers currently in the Star Citizen, is Aegis Dynamics, and they have left the ship hall, unfortunately. So, alas, you will only see them now. Well, granted, you will see them throughout the verse still, and especially in some of the ship dealers, you can buy the ships there in verse. They'll still be on the store page to buy, but there's going to be no more ship hall for them for at least this event. In 6 months' time, come the Invictus Fleet Week, Aegis Dynamics will appear again there, and we can view all their ships there. Although I doubt there's going to be any more new Aegis ships in 6 months. They're going to be mostly focused on some of the other manufacturers coming up. Tumbril and Crusader Industries are still available in the Apex Hall, but today in the Zenith Hall we have Origin Jumpworks, and tomorrow Crusader and Tumbril will be replaced by Drake Interplanetary. So it's always interesting to see Origin and Drake occupy the same physical or very similar and very close by locations and stuff, because they're completely 180 opposite from each other in terms of their aesthetic and who they cater to. So, like I mentioned, Origin Jumpworks is very much it's a quote-unquote smaller manufacturer, in the sense that they don't have a whole lot of different ships available. Larger ship, but granted, they do have the very large 890 Jump, which is one of the largest ships in the game currently, as well as the 600i Touring. So we're going to work our way from the 600 to the 890, and then to the 100, 300, and 400 series ships. So, I should mention, by the way, that the 600i here is very much a work-in-progress ship. Nobody really liked the 600i when it first came out. There was a lot of problems with its interior, and we're just going to kind of go through it just to showcase its current state in the game. However, it has been confirmed by CIG that the Origin 600i is getting an interior redo. So don't expect this to be the final version of the Origin 600. There's going to be a redo eventually of the Origin 600. But it should be roughly the same. I don't think they plan to change it too much, but don't expect it to be this way when you get it. So, coming into the Origin 600, we have... This is, by the way, the Expedition. I think this is the Touring variant. It's more or less meant to ferry you and your friends around the verse. So, anyways, up here, after you rise from the front elevator, you get to a little lobby area, and you are now here in the quote-unquote captain's quarters. As you can see, the captain has a wide double bed that looks out into the verse from the lower half of the bow. Nice big wide window to wake up to. Plus he has his own little couch here with his own little coffee table, own little desk, private work area. This nice little plant wall here covers up that little area, as it's right adjacent to the captain's private bedroom or bathroom. It's with sink, shower, toilet, all in one. The shower toilet combo, though, this is much more further spaced from the shower head than in other ships. Plus, he has his own little closet back here. So that is the 600i's. That is captain's quarters for the 600i. I do believe that is consistent across both variants. You have this beautiful stone wall here with the Origin inlay, and I believe like a silver, which is pretty cool. So yes, this is indeed the private quote-unquote touring version, as it has cabin spaces up above instead of scanning stations. You have this, again, this beautiful natural stone wall right here. You have a little bit also of that right back here with these plants. And you have this like big giant conversation pit / lounge area right here with lots of tables and even, let's get down here, a window down below you, which is pretty cool. So we'll go into the back half of the ship later. We'll continue up around here in this lobby area. Make sure we get this covered. And you can have 4 private berths for your various party goers. I won't go into each one, but each one of them has a very similar accommodations. You have a twin bed. You have your own little private mini closet, your little nightstand shelf, as well as your own individual toilet shower combo. So you have all of those. And then let's go to the front of the ship. So again, that's where we came in. We could take that elevator outside the ship. But up here towards the cabin, we have 3 escape pods for the 3 bridge crew members. So you have, obviously, the captain's chair and then 2 co-pilots in this very beautiful, wide cockpit. Very much unrestricted side-to-side visibility. And there's even a decent bit of lower visibility and upper visibility as well. So it's a very nice, wide cockpit. Moving on to the back of the ship. There is a second set of elevators. As well as, up here, actually a component room. So back here, you do have a weapon and armory and a suit locker back here. So this actually no, this isn't components. My mistake. Sometimes these are joint component and weapons spaces, but this is entirely for the crew's weapons and armor. So all these will. I don't know why they're not quite working now, but these are supposed to open. Oh, there we go. Yeah, guess the panels haven't been implemented in here, but you can see panels open up and you have a armory here with weapon racks for the crew towards the back of the ship, and you have this secondary lounge space, which is even bigger back here. So nice visibility up and above. You can look up behind you, to the back, to above you. Really cool bar area up here. Interesting that the bartender faces out back here. So the bartender has a beautiful view of the back here. Don't think any of these are... You can't grab any of these and drink any of those. As of yet. 2 bar seats up here for the bartender. And then back here you have this giant couch. Back here. With booth seating. You can look up there, you can look up above, you can look to the sides, you can even potentially sit on your knees on the couch and look backwards. See that wide, beautiful view with this nice marble coffee table in front of you. And there's this smaller couch back here, which I would probably like more because the smaller couch back here really lets you take into the sights behind you. Also on the lower floor, there's like a TV lounge right there. You can watch sports. There's a of all things billiard table back here for Origin. And there's also a full kitchen back here. So you can have, you can prepare your feast, put it on display, and then you even have a table to eat at. Now, I do believe this is a refrigerator. It doesn't open up yet, but you can, that is actually a refrigerator to store food. Now going back here, we have more of the component bays back here. So this is very much on either side of the, I believe this is mirrored on the other side of the ship, but your 2 engineering bays are on the lower half of that floor. believe that is where some of the... If it is to be believed, this is where the cargo plates are. So you can actually carry your cargo back here for supply. And it's really not cargo you're carrying in the ship. It would be supplies, like, for the party goers. Like, your supplies of, like, alcohol and food are kept in there. And it's mirrored on the other side. So you have your various component rooms back here. And that's it for the tour of the back half of the ship. Now, going back over to this elevator, this is kind of where things get interesting. Because the actual crew, I believe, are actually squirreled away in the lower deck here on the back half of the ship. So there's the lounge from earlier on the lower floor. So either you take this elevator down or you go through the lounge here. And you actually get to where the crew access is. And these are the crew rooms. So you have 4 individual beds here in this rather oddly open area for the crew members back here. So it's kind of odd that they don't have their own little private bunks. And they're like all their own little tiny little rooms. They're kind of in this one large room like on the open, which is interesting. And then you have here, again, more closets for the crew members. You also have escape pods for them to escape back here. And you actually have a little bench back here because over here are the bathrooms. And there are actually 2 bathrooms for the crew members here, so at least you have 2 bathrooms for 4 crew members back here, which is nice. Plus, you also, again, have 4 little cubbyhole closets areas, cubbyhole / mini closet areas for people for their outfits once they get done with the shower. So there is that. And that's it. So Origin 600i, you have crew space. We have 4 crew members, 1 captain, and then you have enough room for 4 or potentially up to 8 passengers in these twin beds. I don't think Star Citizen has these available as double, like these beds fitting 2 people. I think they're only meant to fit 1 person. So probably very much likely a quote-unquote capacity of only 4 people. So that's the Origin 600i as it currently is. Keep in mind, this tour is kind of a bit of a moot point in the long run, if only because, unfortunately, the 600i is going to basically get, if not entirely reworked, majorly reworked. And that's also why there's only the 600i. I believe this is the touring variant. I do know that for a certain, the exploration variant suffers a bit more from a lack of foresight in its design, we'll say. So the exploration variant is definitely going to get a full-on rework. Moving on to the ship that's going to take the most amount of time to explore, and even more so probably than even the, I wouldn't say dreaded, but infamous Reclaimer, is the 890 jump here. So we're going to do something interesting. We're going to enter the 890 jump from the cargo bay here. And then we're going to cover what the crew sees. Okay, there we go. Now we're going up all the way. I forget there's sort of like a double system for this. But the 880 jump is fairly infamous. It is actually used as the basis for a FPS level in the verse. where it's the 890 jump boarding mission, where you have to board an 890 jump and save the crew members from pirates and stop a hack. Other than that, it is basically the space yacht of Star Citizen. This section back here is both the cargo bay and the vehicle bay for any ground vehicles that you might want to carry and take on your little expeditions around the verse. You have your shield, you have your components also scattered throughout the room here. You have life support, for instance, shield generator, gravity generator, shield generator, all that fun stuff here. Plus, you have these two side rooms, which are also component and engine rooms. So, as you can see here, I have a giant engine room there. You also have, I believe, on either side, 2 elevators. I'm going to double check the other side, but I do believe that both sides do have an elevator. Yes. And the elevator takes you up to towards the back half of the ship, where you have access to engineering, which is where we're at, crew deck, and habitation. No, sorry, the escape rafts. And the escape rafts are basically they're basically escape pods, but for multiple people. So you can call the elevator, and the elevator will drop you into the component bay down below there. You also have a ladder that takes you up here. Into this tiny little room here. That leads you up to the escape rafts. And let's see here. Cool. Again, you have another elevator here that takes you into that. And we will cover this room in a bit later. But you have your escape rafts, which can hold up to 8 people total. So there's one, I believe, on either side of the ship, for a total of 16 people that can be evacuated from the ship. So you do have that for yourself. So you do have that in case things go south, which would not be a surprise. There we go. We slide down and away. Now this is where things get interesting, because now we actually have the crew section back here. And again, you have various weapon racks for the crews. So if the crews need to defend the ship, they can run down here and grab their guns. This, by the way, is the elevator that takes passengers and crew up and down. This is mainly meant for the passengers, however, not for crew members. So there's another elevator on the other side that's more or less meant for the crew. But we have the hangar back here, and there's a little the hangar is through that door, and that's the lounge for the hangar. But on the way to the hangar, the crew actually have a medical bed back here, and this room does kind of look a lot. This room does look very plain and unadorned, so they might have to come back here and touch it up in the future. But this is actually a spawning. This is actually a bed that you can actually heal and, I believe, even possibly spawn at. So if you have any injuries on your cruise cruise ship, you can take someone down here and they can get healed up and patched back up. And that is a feature that is found on very few other ships, by the way. So there is that. And up here you have, again, what's supposed to be a waiting room, I guess, but there's like no furniture or anything at all in there. So, heading towards the hangar, you have this little lounge here where guests can wait. And while the guests are waiting for their things to arrive, they have a TV back over there. They have a little terrarium they can look at. It's a nice little lounge area, but the real fun is through this airlock here. Where we get to the hangar bay. Now, someone lifted the hangar bay up, so let's see here if we can lower it down to show you what it's like. We'll call elevator. And well, that's interesting. Wonder why they're not opening. Oh, someone knocked me out of the way. Yeah, let them play with it. But anyways, you have this hangar bay here. And obviously, as you see, the elevator lift can open up and go up. And ships can land on the exposed pad and then be brought down, and the hangar bay doors closed above them. You also have a basketball hoop here. And you have, by the way, 2 turret rooms in this hangar bay. So, go up here. There's a turret access up there, right there. And you have a turret access also at the nose of the ship. So you do actually have 2 turret gunners on this ship. So you have turret access and hangar access. So you actually take an elevator to the turret, and then you take and then you get on the turret and you fight them there. This hangar, by the way, can carry, I believe, a 300i series. So that's kind of your template for how much what you can fit in here is a 300i series ship. The 400 series, I think, is slightly too big to fit in here, and this the 890 jump was not developed when the 400 series was a thing, so don't expect to fit a 400 series ship in here. 300i, 100i, 890X, and the M50. So the 850X and the M50. So like all of Origin's smaller ships can all fit in this little hangar bay right here. Again, they might do something. There might be something with the expo hall where they purposely have that closed off. So, entering through the other airlock doors, we get to a whole bunch of escape pod, or EVA suit pods here. So you have your either these are suit lockers or they're escape pods. I'm not quite sure actually, because they're not exact. They don't say, but I would imagine escape pods would be a very likely option because there's nowhere to actually put a suit. Over here we have a rec room for the crew of the ship. You have a billiard board table back here. You have the actually the queues. You have a nice lounge. You have a nice couch back there, and you even have an arcade game here, which is pretty fun. Obviously, the arcade game doesn't work, but it's just fun to have like an arcade game within a online game. Now, back here, by the way, we have the actual crew quarters. So, we have, back here, we have 3 separate bathrooms for the crew, with their own shower and toilet, plus their own little area up here where they can sit down. And there's actually 7 cabins for the crew members. So you can have a total of 7 crew members, plus the captain, for a total of 8 crew to fully staff the ship. And at least 2 of them, as we've seen, can be turret gunners. So you definitely have plenty of space for a crew on the ship. You even have a table for the crew down here with 7 open slots. Nice big open couch for them as well. And as you will see, they have their own kitchen, and now we're starting to get to the fun section, quote-unquote, of the ship, where you actually have a full-on chef's kitchen back here, fully stocked, even with their own little hydroponics garden here for microgreens. And again, full kitchen, full knives, full-on work surface, a giant work surface back here in the kitchen. This is the biggest kitchen, I believe, in any ship in the game so far, and this is a fully equipped kitchen. This is not like a cheap unit mounted on the wall that just warms up food. It's a full-on kitchen back here, which is really cool. And I do believe back here, you also have a giant walk-in freezer to store even more food. And all of this food, by the way, is important because up above you have the foyer, the bar with the bar, the lounge, and all the dining options, plus a spa and pool. So this is very much the kitchen that gets. This is very much a kitchen that sends food up to the upper decks. Continuing our little journey back here, we find that we are back at the hangar bay and cargo bay in the rear. Not exactly the hangar bay, quote-unquote, but definitely the cargo bay and vehicle bay. Also on the side here, we also have what's known as the combat bridge, which has the captain's chair and then two co-pilots in the front. So you, if you're under attack and the upper bridge somehow has been exposed or damaged, you come down here into the depths of the ship and continue flying and manning the ship from this lower combat bridge. Also from earlier, we have more escape pods. So I do believe what we saw earlier were EVA suit pods, so that was true. This is an older ship, so there's a lot of stuff that kind of looks a bit iffy. So I thought that those where I thought were escape pods, because they didn't have any hooks for or anything for an EVA suit, were indeed EVA lockers, and these are your escape pods back here. And you have 8 escape pods back here. So not only do you have the 16 slots for the escape rafts, you also have an additional 8 escape pods down here. So, with all that being said and done, let's see here. Because the ship is a bit of a maze at times. Escape pods. So I don't believe there's a good way to necessarily get from here to the upper deck of the ship. You just have to take this back half of the... You take the elevator that's in the crew kitchen, or near the actual hangar bay, or you go back to the cargo bay in the back and take the elevators or lifts up here, and you'll pop up on the actual first floor of the guest experience, we'll say, and that's back over here, where we get to the elevator that allows you to exit the ship and have ground access into the 890 jump. So you have this elevator here that allows you to go from down onto the ground up here into the ship for your VIP guests. Or what's probably more likely to happen, you have a docking collar back here. Again, with more, I believe these are not escape pods. I do believe these are EVA suit lockers. You have these EVA suit lockers here because this is a docking collar. And we'll go ahead and exit out. So you have a docking collar here on either side of the ship. And you mainly want to focus on... I want to take a screenshot of that because I thought it was pretty cool to see the... I'll probably take a screenshot whenever Origin comes around, but there we go. This is definitely thumbnail quality right there. Alright, there we go. So, this is definitely where you're going to be taking in most of your crew members. The 890 Jump is a very large ship, and as thus doesn't really like to be necessarily on the surface of planets. So you're most likely going to pick up people in orbiting space stations, and the 890 jump is so big, they give you the option, and what's more likely going to be your primary method of loading and unloading people, or through the docking rings, or the docking collars, that are equipped on most large stations and the like. So you'll have your guests enter in through the docking rings on either side. So, once they enter either from the elevator in the back or the docking collars to the side, you have the first floor of this entrance lobby here. I guess that's weird hair texture popping in. So we have this little area they enter right here, which is really cool. Lots of marble on the ground. And you have these two side doors here that actually enter into the guest cabins here. So again, guest cabins, they have large beds, they have their own little aquarium back here, they have their own little desk, they have their own chessboard. I do believe this okay, that's cool. The chessboard is now functional, which is really cool. And they have their own little, again, little lounge here, their own little couch. Lots of decorative things. And you have this door here that opens up into a very interesting spa tub shower combo, which is really cool. And again, they have their own little private closet here. Nice wide area for their sink. Damn, you can't forget the toilet. And this is, by the way, is copied over on the other side. And you also have, I believe, 2 more additional cabins towards the middle, towards the upper deck, I believe. So we'll get to that area in a little bit. I do believe the 2 additional cabins are up here to the side. Those are the same exact cabins as down below. So there you go. And those are your 4 passenger cabins. So they are weirdly located. I will admit, having 2 like VIP cabins on this floor on either side here, and then they kind of like stuck them in on the second floor behind another door. But regardless, they are at least evenly spaced throughout the ship, so I guess that is something. Other than that, you do have this little mini lounge here in front, and with all this marble right here. Engineering access that we saw earlier with the escape pods are right here on this VIP floor, which is very good because this is a very central location on the ship for the crew, for the passengers. So easy access to the escape rafts to get them off the ship in an emergency. And we have here, by the way, the first level of the quote-unquote passenger experience. You actually have saunas here. So you have not 1, but 2 saunas with this really nice stone texture wall right here. And a whole lot of wood. This is a really nice, cool, angular, like a blended wood structure here, which is really cool. And beyond that, you have bathrooms or showers after that to rinse off after your swim, because you have a spa right here, or hot tub right here, with this really cool waterfall feature and slate wall. And not only that, past the 2 elevators here, you actually have a swimming pool. And off to the side, before we get to the swimming pool, you do have little changing stalls for your swimwear. So you can get changed into your swimwear in these little stalls right there. And you do have a swimming pool back here. And it's not quite implemented, at least graphics-wise yet, but there is supposed to be water in there, and as you can see, if you go into the deep end and crouch down, will be submerged. But I don't know if it really has any effect in there. Other than that, it's really cool because, again, you have this textured slate wall on either side, and you have these 6 lounge chairs, so you can lounge around in the pool. So it's actually a nice swimming pool back there. Not too deep of a swimming pool, but it's still cool to have a swimming pool on a ship, not gonna lie. And should mention also that if your guests need to go anywhere, you have on either side elevators to go up either to the hangar on the one side and down, or the crew, or really on the other side you're only going up to the foyer for the bar and lounge. You're not going down to the crew kitchen to get food. They're bringing the food to you. So, and the hangar is for arrivals, I guess, from outside. If your VIP guests decide to arrive in their own private ship, so they would come up through this area right here, and voila, they can immediately take a dump. They can immediately take a swim, or if they have to, they can go there and go up to the bathroom, which I believe are on the second floor. Do want to point out, by the way, before we get to the second floor, there's really cool like faux electronics back here for the ship. I do like this circuitry with like the oversized IC chips and capacitors or inductors. I think it's really cool. On the second floor, we have this really interesting art piece here in the middle. Plus, again, like I mentioned before, the additional crew cabins, and you do actually have guest bathrooms on either side for a total of 4 guest bathrooms, all centrally located here, right next to the lounge area. So you have a this bar area rather. So you have a bar here with plenty of seating all around the semicircular bar. Plus, you have little booths off to the side, where you can go see the outside world from these beautiful wide windows. And towards the front, you even have a dining room towards the front here, with this buffet area right here. Plus, you have these smaller private dining booths right here, as well as this huge, giant conference room here at the nose of the ship with this humongous panoramic view of the 890 jump from here, as well as one-way glass looking back towards the aft of the ship. As you can see from the front, you can't see anything this way, but from here you can see the rest of the diners right there. So I would probably say one of my favorite views or areas on the ship to like sit down and just probably would chill would be at the head of the this head of the table right here, where you're like looking back and you have this giant view to the left and right of you as you're sailing throughout space. Walking past the bar, by the way, this little area right here is actually a elevator, is the elevator that it comes down from the crew kitchen. So obviously, like I mentioned before, they cook the food down there. It'll get brought up here to the bar, to the foyer, bar, lounge, and dining area, and they would actually sit the food up here in a little hot pot or hot surface area to keep the food warm. All right, we can pop through the. All right, good. Whew, door didn't close on us. So you can have, as you can see, lots of guests here. So there's definitely room for lots of people up here on this deck. So we're almost done with the ship, believe it or not. The bridge is up through here on the top floor. I believe this is component access. Yep, avionics. And you have all these fancy displays, huge window, and very similar to the 600i, you have a cockpit of 3 people up here, a captain and 2 co-pilots, who get this nice overview of the ship, including the hangar bay up there, which is probably very useful. So that way they can make sure they are verifying who is landing and taking off from the ship. Otherwise, there's also this giant hollow viewer back here, so they can plan out their where you're going and what route you want to take your guest on. I should mention also on here, you have this giant window up here on this top floor, so people aren't really going to be up here other than to hang out on this little lounge area up here and oversee this giant window up here. Get some really good views from up above. Now, beyond these honeycombed walls right here, we have the captain's quarters. So, private little space here with some chairs. This cool little aquarium back there leading to a private dining area with the captain's own kitchen back here. The captain of the ship also has his own giant TV screen and his own giant set of shelves and closet space and his own private bathroom as well. So he basically has a very similar bathroom and he has very similar bathroom accommodations to the cabins. And he also has a very similar bed, nice big bed, but way more space. Also, up to the side here, this door will open. There we go. We have the captain's private desk space back here. Thinking about that for a second. You have the private, again, captain's private quarters back here. With a nice view of the rear of the ship up here. Plus some extra seating for people who needs to talk to you up here. And I know what this reminds me of. I'm going to make a wild guess. This is, I believe, a map of the Stanton system. You have Hurston with 4 moons. Right there. And you have Hurston with 4 moons. Then you have Crusader with its 3 moons. ArcCorp with its 2 moons. And then Microtech with its 3 moons back there. So this is actually a map of the Stanton system. Huh, that's pretty cool. Didn't notice it. There we go. The door opens vertically up. So, and that's it for the Origin 890 jump. Oh, this is new. They implemented another chessboard back here for guests to play with. Okay, that's actually really cool. But anyways, I really can't recommend the 890 jump. It's very much something that you get if you really want to support the project and you really want to spend the money on it. But like as a ship that you want to buy, it's really expensive, and its only real purpose is to feel fancy and go flying around the ship with your friends, versus with your friends. Now, what I would recommend, and what I would say is, if you really still want the 890 jump, but you do agree that like it's too much money, too much real life money, this is an excellent ship to give yourself a goal to earn towards in the verse. It is very expensive, but this ship is available to buy in the verse. So go ahead and honestly make it a... Don't buy it with real life money. Save this ship as a goal to give yourself a reason to play the game. And then go try to earn it in-game and then fly it around with your hard-earned in-game money. Next up, we go from the largest, most expensive, or one of the most expensive ships in Star Citizen, to a ship that's way more affordable. And that is the 100 series. So, 100i is the stock standard of the 100 series ships. You go in here, there's a chair, really nice cockpit all around, good vertical visibility and good horizontal visibility. Not too much otherwise in features. There is a small little cargo bay back here that holds 2 SCU worth of cargo. And you also have a little bed where you can sleep and log in and out. No bathroom facilities. just a bed to lay down and rest in. Other than that, you have some room for components back there. And you also have a couple of guns to defend yourself with, so you can definitely use this for doing box missions and flying around the verse like that. Would I make mention that this ship, one of its big features is that it has highly effective air intakes, and these allow you to refuel or basically mitigate any fuel expenditure you might have on your journeys. So you'll be able to fly around using way less hydrogen fuel than you normally would, because you'll be recovering it as you fly around the verse. Better than that, that is all there is to the 100i. It's a starter ship. It's fairly nice. It's fairly simple. It's very much similar to the Aurora, except you get less cargo space. But I do believe this has a bit better handling characteristics than the Aurora. Although, handling characteristics, don't count your chickens with them quite yet. With the flight rework, there's going to be a whole lot more balanced passes in order for everyone to... for all these ships to get actually fully balanced out and fully fleshed out. So there's going to be a lot of rough patches where ships will handle nowhere near what they should be. The 135C is the cargo enhanced version of the 100i series, we'll call it, where very similar to the 100i, with its internal cabin layout, but you actually have two cargo bays. You have this 2 SU cargo bay right here, and well as, in the rear, a 4 SU cargo bay. So, in that way, you can actually carry a total of 6 SU with the 150, 135, and this is similar to, I believe, the Aurora Clipper, where you can have a, I think where that Aurora Clipper, I believe, has 6 SCU of cargo space too. So it is kind of another option for a starter transport ship where you want to carry like small amounts of high value cargo around. And over here we have the 125A, or a combat variant, and it replaces the cargo space of the 135C with missile bay. So this actually has a bit more missile firepower to it. But otherwise, it's just another 100i series ship. It's a bit more of a combat-focused 100 series ship. Let's see here. All right. Moving on, we are going to get to the last two ships in the hull. And the last two sets of ships in the hull are the 300 and 400 series ships. There we go. Run, my little character, run! Alright. You know what? We'll just keep exterior until we're ready to get into the ship. Alright, so we're going to go to the 300 series, and then we're going to wrap it with the 400 series. 300 series, there are 4 different ships. The 350R of the 4 is the most interesting one, because I believe its layout is entirely... Let's see here. There we go. This is one of those ships that's kind of hard to enter in from the show floor, but there's a side door. There we go. Now you decide to get in. So the 350R is interesting because it's a racing ship, and it actually, of the 3 series, has the smallest crew living quarters. But for a starter, this is a quote-unquote Tier 2 starter. Although this is ironically one of the older ships in the game at the moment. So as a tier 2 starter, it's weird because this was originally Origin's entry-level ship. But you have a bed back here with this nice wide sunroof that goes across the almost entirety of the ship. And you actually over here have a bathroom. So this is indeed a racing ship that has a toilet and a bed. That is a thing. And then, of course, up here you have the cockpit. Really good visibility all around. Can't really beat Origin ships in their visibility. As far as racing ships are concerned, the Origin 350R is it's very much a straight-line speedster, drag racer type of racing ship. Not a lot. It's not really meant to be maneuverable or like take corners a whole lot. It's very much a straight line, as fast as you can go kind of ship. 325A is the combat-focused variant of the 300 series. You have a much more powerful, I believe it's a much larger mount you get for the front nose, and in this case it comes equipped with a standard Apocalypse armed Gatling gun, and you have your standard issue laser cannons, and you have I believe 4 size 2 missiles in total. Also, now I'm going to cover with the standard. With the other ships, but every Origin ship, other than the 350 R, has a cargo bay in the back. Let's see if I can get it to drop. There we go. And it's a relatively small one, but that is indeed the 325 and the 300 have that size of smaller cargo bay. Just leave that down. We'll go over the interior in a little bit. I'll show you the ship I have for its interior. Because the other 3 Origin ships, the 315P, which you're getting to, the 325A, and the 300 all share the similar interior. So here we go. This is the one I have. Just in this patch, by the way, they implemented this tractor beam. So, for new, as of IAE, this is brand spanking new, this tractor beam, as well as its functionality. Other than that, the 315P has two laser cannons and 2 size 2 missile launchers. So, 2 fewer in total than the 325, which is the more combat-focused variant. And as you can see here, the 315 is also different because its cargo bay is quite a bit noticeably larger. I believe this is 6 SCU of cargo instead of the 2 or the 4 SCU of cargo of the regular ship. Otherwise, we do have up here. I'll show you what a regular 300 series cabin looks like, as the door doesn't open on this one. Oh well. So you have your cockpit glass up here. You have your bathroom back here. And you have this really nice living cabin back here. So that if you're on the road, you don't feel like you're quite stuck at home. So you're not quite stuck anywhere. So back here we have a little mini refrigerator. We have a nice little kitchen area and desk space area right here. You even have some wine glasses, a gun rack, and a mini closet, where you can use it to access your storage. Your internal storage for the ship.
Yeah. Wanting to buy something like this. Actually, did you know that this wasn't the original?
There we go.
I've seen pictures of some earlier versions and they were...
And you have the bed off to the side here. So it's not like the 350R, where the bed's right here. You actually have a little cabin back here with the bed off to the side. In fact, we'll go here.
Hey, I think I'm about to...
Let's see here. Open exterior. So you do have your panels right there on either side for your control space. Let's see here. All right, let's get back. Let's get out of here. There we go. Get that annoying hair out of the way. But that's the 350p.
The same manufacturer makes all of these.
We're just going to hop out. 300i also has a decent-sized cargo bay back here. In fact, just realized something. Knew I was missing something. Okay. This also back here with the 300i is an additional bit of cargo. This should lower down as well. Not quite sure why it's not behaving itself. It might be because this is a quote-unquote show floor version of the model, and its primary focus is getting you to rent the ship, not necessarily exploring every single nook and cranny with opening up panels or whatnot, because sometimes it's a bit messy. But the 350p does actually have a bit more cargo space. There we go. Open rear cargo bay. So there's your cargo bay for the 315p. You have this rear section. You have this rear cargo here in addition to the front cargo.
I've been waiting so long to see one of these. It's even better than I thought.
Actually, did you know that this wasn't the original design?
There we go. See, and you can see in the regular version, the cargo space does not go back nearly as far. So the 315p of all of them has the most amount of cargo space, which is very fitting for the Explorer variant, because the 315p is very much the long-range Explorer variant. 325, if I didn't mention before, is the combat variant. 300i is the standard variant. Again, 2 size 2 missiles, 2 size 2 guns, and then it does actually have a nose mount with an additional gun on it as well. Otherwise, the interior of the 300i is the same as the 315p and 325a. Also to note, you can get with the 300 series ships. I'm not quite sure if it's still available, but at one time they were offering internal customization, where you can actually buy little extra doodads for the inside of your 300i, and you can actually customize it to your liking. And I actually did that, and you can get custom paint jobs you can get custom paint jobs and custom interior designs. It was pretty cool. They haven't implemented it on any other ships yet, so who knows. Last of the major ships, because I did remember that there's actually 2 ships down on the lower deck we need to cover. We have the 400 series ship. This was released at CitizenCon last year, so this ship is a year old at this point. And this is sort of a Cutlass. We'll say this is very much the Cutlass of the Origin lineup. It's a smaller multi-crew ship. And watch as I struggle to find the... Oh, there it is. Ramp access. Alright. Odd decision to put a light there, but oh well. For the 400i, this is actually a garage for an X1 series bike. I do believe this can also fit a Nox bike, but I mean, you can't use it also for cargo storage and the like, but this is more or less meant for the X1 series of bikes made by Origin. And the X1 series should be coming out relatively soon. I do believe they were actually slated for the next patch, so very soon we will finally get the bike that fits into the 400i specifically. Going into the 400i, you see there's a little gravity generator there, and it's a little room. You have, in this little ramp area up here, you have your gun racks and your suit lockers. Plus, you have a small docking collar out to the side. Excuse me. You have this little engineering bay here, just after the ramp. You have all your components here in these little rooms off to the side. You also have a ladder and a elevator to get to the second floor, as well as a door back here to get to the cargo bay. And the cargo bay back here also has escape pods. And some more components.
Somehow outdone themselves with their latest item.
And we're just taking the ladder then. Alright. So here is the second floor of the 400i. Heading towards the back of the ship. On the right on this side here, we have the captain's quarters here. He has his own little window out into the outside world up there, as well as over on his bed. Right there. There's actually storage that's folded away down below. Again, he has his own little desk. Wide computer screen, little office shelf right there, little side closet right there. And the two crew members also are, at this point, co-conspirators or buddies, or co-pilots, have their own little quarter back here, their own little closet space, and their own beds. Also up here on the other side of the elevator, we have the ship's only bathroom. So it's a bathroom-toilet combo. And at the very rear of the ship, there is a holomap viewer right here. So you have a little holomap viewer in this little rotunda back here where you can overlook whatever planet you're on right now. And there is one of the turrets of the ship also right there in view. And otherwise, there's a little booth seating right here. And a little kitchen area right there as well. So you can go ahead and make yourself some food, eat there in the back, and then go out and plan your adventure back here. In this nice little panoramic view back here. And then up here you have the co-pilot, you have the main pilot, and you have these two co-pilot seats. And these two co-pilot seats both actually control a rear turret. And the interesting thing about this ship is that the ship has 6, I think, size 2 guns. But the 6 size 2 guns, 4 of them are on turrets that face rearward, and only 2 of them are face forward. So this is very much a ship that does not want to start fights, but between the doesn't want to. Oh, now it decides to go down. But between the fact that this ship does have decent shields and high speeds, and the 2 rearward-facing turrets, is very much a ship that can get itself out of trouble, but it's not really meant as a ship to get itself into trouble. But overall, between the small cargo bay in the back, the relatively small crew size, this is definitely I would definitely recommend this ship for like small groups of explorers. If you want to travel with a couple of friends, even as a solo ship, it shouldn't be all that bad to go out and exploring it. This ship definitely does benefit from having a full complement of 3 people. Just to man the 2 rear turrets, so in case you get into any dicey situations, you at least have some firepower towards the rear to guard your 6 while your pilot finds a way out of trouble. As for the 300i series, I didn't give my opinion on those. The 300i series are a good a good second tier starter ship. I personally have the 315p as my starter ship for exploration, and it's served me well over the, especially in the early days of the project. I personally love it, and it's a really good single player ship, especially if you're trying to do a whole bunch of different missions, especially if for instance, you want to do more of the combat missions, get 325A. If you do more exploration and even a little bit of cargo trading, 315P has more cargo space than I believe the 135C. It's definitely worth the investment if you want to go for it as a Tier 2 starter.
I really appreciate that they've got some of their classic designs on display.
And I can already see it's been an hour roughly, and that's probably because that, as much as there's so few Origin ships, two of the Origin ships are massive, which take all day. So let's see here. We got to get some hydration in ourselves before we dehydrate. So let's get some of this. I believe of the various options in game, I believe, or at that kiosk, I think that hydrates you the most. I mean, I would get the tea, but I know the tea doesn't hydrate you as much. Let's see here. You know what? Oh well. Let's see if there's actually a trash bin to throw this out on. I like trying to use the in-game trash bins, but sometimes there's like no trash bin to be found. Thought that was one. Oh well. Anyways, so we wrapped up all of the main show floor. We have 2 smaller vehicles that Origin has that we are going to explore. And those are the M50 Racer and the, I believe it's the X85, which is a snub craft. Yep, M50. All nice and pretty looking in its racing livery here. Definitely a pure racer. It does have 2 guns, and I believe these are size 1s actually for the guns, and then 2 size 1 missiles. However, it's very much only really used for racing. The guns are weak enough, and the missiles are weak enough not to totally pester a threat. You're not going to be really dealing with... you're not going to be able really to deliver a killing blow necessarily to anything with those, but they're there for self-defense in case you get into trouble or you enter a combat racing event. Other than that, M50 is... This is very much the F1... This is very much a F1 style racer, unlike the 350R, which is very much a drag racer. The M50 is a more balanced F1 racer where it prioritizes more at it does prioritize speed, but also handling character capabilities. So it's a very much a more balanced racer than a drag racer, like say the 350R. Other than that, this is an older ship, but we can still get it.
Origin Jumpworks, at your service. Core system operational.
Alright. You have the various displays up there on the cockpit right there. You can see you have decent visibility off to the sides. But obviously you have good vertical visibility because you will need that for racing. Alright, there we go. And lastly, we have the 85X, which is a snub craft that is used for exploration. Now, it does have a decent bit of extra firepower compared to even the racing ship with 4 guns, but this isn't really meant as a snub fighter craft to engage targets, although it can be used as such. It's actually more or less meant as a sort of as a expedition craft. As I walk through the canopy, where you and a pilot basically have this ship in either a, like a... You can even have this potentially in, I believe, a 600i. Either within a 600i or a 350, 890, and you use this to basically do a little excursion down to the surface of a planet or fly around an area. It's not really meant as a like snub fighter craft, but you can use it as such in a pinch. But this is more or less meant for like to get you and your VIP from one spot to another. Overall, it is a fun little snub craft. I really don't see these around in the verse a whole lot. So it's definitely something, if you want a unique snub craft that'll fit into a lot of ships, you can definitely go ahead with the 85X. But its purpose really is limited because it doesn't have a quantum drive. And lastly, it's that time of year where we go in, that time of the video where we go into the display hall and see what's available. Like I was mentioning with the 400 series ship, we have the X1 Racers here. So this is going to be a racing bike that's going to come in next patch, hopefully. And it'll fit into that bay in the X1, or in any other ship that has a cargo bay. And it's a one-man hover bike. And we have the G12 series, which are Origin's ground, basically rover. And these are used for, like, again, exploring, going around on the ground, exploring, similar to the 85X, but as a ground vehicle. And with all concept ships, just be careful. Even though the Origin X1 is slated to come out next patch, things can happen. Last minute things can happen. It can get pushed out further afield. Although they have been very good about keeping to a schedule, so don't feel as worried about this becoming a concept that gets kicked down the road forever. It's on the schedule, and because it's releasing next quarter. I wouldn't worry about this being too far out in the future if you want to pre-order it at IAE. G12, however, we have no idea when the G12 is coming out. It might be one of those vehicles that we have to wait quite a bit for. I don't think it's on any schedule. And that's it for Origin Day. I will say for Origin, the 300 and 400i, the middle-of-the-road options, are probably your best bet for picking up an Origin ship, if you're just looking for price to value. The smaller 100i series ships have always been kind of iffy. They do seem to, for what you're getting, for a starter ship, they're not bad. But I feel like you can really do a lot better with the other starter ships offered by other manufacturers. The Aurora and the Mustang, for instance, I believe are better than the 100 series ships. Although, if you like the idea of having like a bed and a nice wide open canopy and a craft that has, it really does focus on regenerating its fuel supplies, go ahead right for it. And in any other case, yeah, I would probably say just stick to those two ships. If you really want to spend money, just to spend money to support the project, go ahead with the 600 and 890 jump. Although you're best off earning those in game. I would say especially stay clear of the 600i, the 600i series ships, mainly because we know they're getting reworked sooner rather than later, and I would much rather see them get the rework and then buy them than get them in their current state. So, once again, we arrive at the event program to wrap it up where we started. Again, Crusader Industries Temporal last day today for those. Origin Jumpworks is today and tomorrow, and then starting tomorrow and going into the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, we have Drake Interplanetary. And then the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, we have Argo, Consolidated Outland, Grey Cat, and Kruger, which is going to be my day. A lot of different manufacturers on this day. Argo is going to have quite a few ships. Consolidated Outland has its Mustang and Nomad. on display. Grey Cat's going to have the Rock series of ships. Kruger's going to have their snub fighters. So lots of different ships from a lot of different interesting manufacturers on this day. So that's going to be my next big day that I'm looking forward to. Drake is always fun. They have a decent lineup, so hopefully that'll be a good day as well. And with that, it's time to say goodbye to another day at IAE. And I will see you all tomorrow for Drake Day. Until then, fly safe.